News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 98.3 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Some Lolo Peak evacuees allowed to return home. Good morning, everyone. Montana Morning for Wednesday, August 16th, 2017. Right now, the sky is partly cloudy. There's plenty of smoky haze out there, although air quality is rated as good in Missoula. We have 52 degrees right now. There is an air quality alert until 9 o'clock this morning. Our newscast this morning is sponsored by the Bitterroot Tour of Homes, August 18th, 19th, and 20th. For ticket information, see them online at bitterrootbia.com. The evacuation order from milepost 20 to milepost 21.7 for both the north and south sides of Highway 12 has been downgraded to now an evacuation warning. Residents may return to their homes. Residents should remain vigilant and ready to immediately evacuate should the need arise. This, of course, comes from the Missoula County Sheriff's Office Facebook page. The evacuation order remains in place between Fort Fizzle and milepost 21.7 for both north and south sides of Highway 12. The evacuation order includes Mill Creek Road and Elk Meadows Road areas. Portions of Mormon Creek Road above and including Van Drive remain in an evacuation warning phase. For more information, the number to call, 258-4636. Well, let's talk about the Lolo Peak fire. Rains on Sunday helped calm fires in the Missoula area, but accompanying winds that night helped to blow up the Lolo Peak fire. Fire Information Officer Sig Palmer explains.
That activity caused it to start going easterly down valley. What we have is about 10,363 acres at this point, and there are a few spot fires that are out right up next to the secondary line that was built inside the original box. The firefighters are getting on with that.
Again, that's Sig Palm, not Palmer. My apologies. The fire broke past the second containment line during the past 24 hours, but still has quite a ways to go to get down to the final containment line, which is near homes.
2 miles to the closest home and 6 or 7 miles from the bulk of most of the homes. There are 165 that were evacuated, and then there are some on the periphery on the east side of the evacuation area that went into a warning, and what that meant was be ready to leave if the order is given, because it's serious business.
The costs of fighting the Lolo Peak fire ramping up as well. A week ago it was $8.8 million. Yesterday, $14.8. During fire season, air quality can fluctuate wildly in western Montana, but it's Sarah Cofield's job as air quality specialist for Missoula County to let the public know just how bad a situation actually is. The tool used to tell the public about the air is called the Air Quality Index, which has 6 categories, ranging from good to hazardous. Behind that label is a more precise measurement, as Cofield explains.
We measure particulate matter as micrograms per cubic meter as averaged over an hour, and that's really technical, but it's basically we're weighing the amount of smoke in the air. And we consider air quality to be hazardous to human health at 250 micrograms per cubic meter.
The air in some portions of Missoula County is so bad, it's unlike anything the state's ever measured before. Though still considered hazardous, the measurements are miles beyond the danger limit.
Seeley Lake has been ranging from 300 to almost 600 all morning. I mean, it started building up after midnight. So it is well beyond where we would tell people, this is hazardous. Stop breathing it. You need to cut down your exposure to it. And they've had so many nights. They've been up close to 1,000 multiple times.
According to Cofield, the long-term effects of particulates on the bloodstream, lungs, and brains are downright scary. She says the number of people in Seeley Lake seeking medical help for smoke-related issues has skyrocketed since the Rice Ridge fire began. 2 Montana juveniles have been cited for starting a fire that burned 2 structures at about 250 acres of land. The Bozeman Daily Chronicle reports firefighters corralled the fast-moving grass fire Monday north of Three Forks. The Gallatin County Sheriff's Office did not specify what charges the juveniles would face and did not state how the fire actually started. The Sheriff's Office issued an evacuation warning for the area during the fire. Deputies also knocked on doors to give those warnings. Residents were allowed to return to their homes Monday night, but were being kept out of areas where helicopters were still working. The effort to bring personnel costs in line with enrollment at the University of Montana continues, with notices sent out to lecturers that their contracts will not be renewed for the spring semester. spokesperson Paula Short explains the employment arrangements with adjunct professors and lecturers.
We utilize comprise non-tenurable faculty. They make up anywhere from 20 to 25% of the faculty at the university, and as the name implies, non-tenurable means that they are hired on contracts of varying terms. Some of them are on semester-by-semester contracts, others are on one-year contracts.
Short said there are specific requirements that must be utilized in these employment circumstances.
A lecturer that has been at the university for 3 years or longer is entitled to one semester's advance notice if they will not be hired on for a subsequent term. And so for us, that means if there are lecturers that we do not anticipate needing for the spring semester, we must notify them before the start of the fall semester.
Short said all 34 lecturers have been given that notice. In addition, only 13 or 14 of the tenured faculty members have agreed to the university's voluntary early retirement in its effort to bring personnel costs in line with enrollment. The ongoing nationwide discussion about Confederate memorials at public spaces has come to Montana after a letter was sent yesterday asking for the removal of a fountain in Helena put up by the Daughters of the Confederacy back in 1916. Missoula area legislator Shane Morageau wrote the letter, and he explains.
We called upon the commission to step up and remove it. We also explained, that asking the commission to recognize the harmful message that it sends to Indians and minorities and all of Montanans. When you see people, white nationalists, walking through promoting violence in places throughout the country, it's a discussion that brings up different things. And we just had Richard Spencer in Whitefish not too long ago.
Morageau was asked to respond to those who see the removal of these memorials as an erasure of history. He says he doesn't see it that way. He says he thinks the discussion is a valuable one Montana needs to have.
I don't think it's erasing history. Is that in a museum? When we have it in public places and we're saying, hey, we're going to honor people who fought for slavery. If the Confederacy would have won, there'd likely be slaves to this day. And so I think the message that sends is that this was a tragic moment in history, but we're still memorializing those people who went out and fought for really the main crux of it was slavery.
Though written by Morageau, the letter was signed on by 7 other legislators. It was addressed to the Helena City Commission. The full letter can be read on our website at newstalkkgvo.com. And finally, a U.S. World War II veteran from Missoula says by returning a flag he took from a fallen Japanese soldier to his siblings, both he and the family can now move on. Marvin Strombo yesterday returned the Japanese flag, signed by Sateo Yasue's family, friends, and neighbors, wishing his safe return when he was drafted in 1943 to fight in the war. Yasue was sent to the Pacific island of Saipan, where he died on the battlefield. Strombo took the flag from Yasue's body as a souvenir, vowing to return it to his family someday. After yesterday's emotional handover ceremony at a village community hall, Strombo said, quote, "It means so much to me and to the family to get the flag back and move on. That's the main theme for the whole thing," end quote. Our News Talk time now is 6:13.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Plenty of sunshine today with high temperatures in the low 80s. We will have a wind out of the west-northwest at 5 to 15 miles per hour. It'll stay quite breezy tonight with overnight lows dropping into the 50s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.